Welcome to Season 2 of the Erotic Realm podcast, where we explore the world of eroticism, one erotic realm at a time. I'm Em, a sexologist and kinkster. The mission of the Erotic Realm is to humanize desire in all of its forms, including darker desires. Each episode, we dive deep into the psychology of desire with a sexpert, everyday kinkster, or a kink expert. This is an independent podcast. To support it, please consider becoming a paid subscriber at psychologyofdesire.com, where you'll also find deep dives into desire and surveys that you can participate in. You can also sign up there to get the podcast delivered directly to your inbox when it's released. If you'd like to support the podcast, please consider checking out the brands that support the Erotic Realm. There's Firm Tech, whose tech ring offers fascinating insights into sexual health by tracking erection, quality, and nocturnal function. Splash Blanket, who create luxurious waterproof blankets designed for comfort, intimacy, and real-life messes. ProDX Health, who offer discreet, at-home STI testing. While Karoo and Lovents make premium pleasure technology, from couple toys to long-distance interactive devices. Then there's Lioness, who are doing something truly unique in sex tech, using biofeedback and orgasm data to help people better understand their arousal. I'm also partnering with Flow and Desire, science-backed libido support supplements designed to support sexual vitality and well-being. These are brands that I find genuinely interesting, science-backed, and I've used them myself, so they come with my recommendation. You can find the links to all of them in the episode description. If you try them, use the links below. It supports the show at no extra cost to you. And now, back to today's conversation. The following conversation is with That Scientist, a science communicator, kink educator, and lifelong student whose curiosity has shaped not only the way they understand the world, but also their own erotic identity. Together we explore how curiosity led them into the kink community, the psychology behind brat dynamics, discovering bisexuality later in life, why science and BDSM make such natural partners, and how asking thoughtful questions can transform the way we approach desire, relationships, and personal growth. Whether you're brand new to kink or simply curious about your own erotic psychology, this episode is a reminder that understanding ourselves rarely begins with certainty. It begins with curiosity. Enjoy. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Erotic Realm. Today, I'm looking forward to exploring the erotic realm of That Scientist. Welcome, That Scientist.
Hello.
Hi, thanks for being here. So to start us off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what your life looks like outside of the kink world, what you get up to day to day?
So I am actually a scientist.
Cool.
I work in the patient side, not research. So I work 12-hour overnights doing that multiple times a week, in like a wide variety of areas of, I guess like in the healthcare setting. So I do a little bit of like microbiology, blood transfusion medicine, immunology, chemistry, hematology is kind of what I do there. Otherwise, in my free time, I like to hang out with my dog and I read a lot. I have quite a selection of books at my house. Otherwise, I just, try to keep myself busy doing that.
Oh, fiction or nonfiction? What are you into?
Depends. I really like horror. It's probably my favorite fiction-wise. As for like nonfiction, it's a lot of medical stuff, to be honest.
Cool.
The weirder, the better.
Did you say magical?
The weirder, the better. Medical, sorry.
Oh, medical. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we love weird, nerdy people around here, so you're very welcome. Okay, so let's dive into your sexuality now. How would you describe your erotic identity currently in terms of your sexuality and your kinky self?
I would classify myself as bisexual, newly late in life bisexual.
Okay.
And as for like kink related, I would say like more of a braticist, I guess. I have never like gotten to that point where I felt like I've been fully submissive to somebody. But I do enjoy the dynamic of being bratty. I very much enjoy impact. I've been experiencing that quite a bit since I got into this realm. That's like one of my favorite things. Very much like the challenge of pain and the feeling of pain. And I also like to do some rope stuff here and there.
Cool. So Braticist, is that because you enjoy the challenge of pain, like you just said? So it's putting brat and masochist together?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, fun. And you mentioned a couple of kinks there. I'm not sure if we got to 3. So what are your top 3 kinks at the moment and why?
Definitely impact. I have like slowly been working my way up in terms of doing heavier stuff over the past like 6 months. I do enjoy the idea and the feeling of pain. I do find it challenging for me. My brain's kind of all over the place. If anybody's ever seen my account, I'm all over the place. So for that, it very much challenges me to focus on one thing at that particular moment, which is very hard for me to do, but that is one way that I can do that. And then as for like rope stuff and shibari, kind of the same thing, but also just being like body aware, knowing how things should feel, how things shouldn't feel, along with the artistic side of it. I'm not very artsy fartsy in my real life, so I really enjoy doing that, as well as doing silly rope stuff too. I like to do that as well. And for third kink, let's see. I feel like those are like my top 2 right now, and I've just been kind of like learning and reading and just figuring out more by myself. I really am into exhibitionism, obviously. I do find that exhilarating and another way to bring some like artist out of me instead of just like facts, knowledge, whatever, the usual part of my brain that's going off 24/7.
And I wasn't sure when you were describing these things, do you like both sides of the slash? Are you more submissive, dominant? Are you a switch?
I would say I'm more submissive. For surely submissive with men. As for with women, I still feel like I'm mostly submissive, but I haven't had enough interactions to see if I would be more of a switch on with women. But that is something I look forward to exploring at some point.
So let's talk about it, because you said that you're a later in life bisexual. So it's something that you haven't explored a lot. What's that journey been like for you? Can you share with us?
Very exhilarating. Like, I swear the first time I was ever with a woman, that honestly changed my life, and I'm not even kidding.
Okay.
And it's not like I didn't like have these thoughts before or anything like that. It was more of just like taking the leap and putting myself out there, I would say. I live in like a very rural section of the country. So that kind of, I don't want to say impedes, but at least finding people in the same, thought mindset isn't necessarily quite as easy. So, but yeah, that has been very exhilarating portion of my life. Just women are very different to me than being with men. It's like definitely like a different vibe. I feel like women are softer, nicer, and not that men aren't nice. I don't want to say that. But the feelings are definitely different for me compared to being a man. Yeah.
What was life-changing about it? Did you label yourself as heterosexual before that, bi-curious, or were you already identifying with bisexual? Is that what changed, or was it something else?
I definitely labeled myself as bi-curious before that. I've definitely always like thought women were beautiful. I could see myself with a woman, just like never really got to that point until recently. So that was like a total mind shift for me, kind of just opened up a lot of doors in my mind, I guess you could say, after that, and just like changed my thought process a little bit on kind of where I am in this world right now. So
Mm-hmm. So you're like, I like that and I want more of it.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that you getting into kink helped pull you out of a difficult period after COVID. Can you
Yes.
share with us that journey?
So I worked in the hospital. I work in a hospital setting, and I had just at the beginning of COVID gotten out of like a three year long term relationship with a man, and COVID really kind of probably gave me some PTSD, honestly, if I think about it hard enough.
Yeah.
But it kind of just had put me in a place where like I didn't date anybody for 3 years. I didn't have sex with anybody for 3 years. I did not try to do anything, which I think was actually looking back probably pretty good for me. It gave me some time to think about myself and um, kind of see where I wanted to be at with that without any, being in a current relationship or looking for something or anything like that, just trying to figure out me. And I think that sometimes that's okay to take that little bit of time just to figure out yourself a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was good for me because then I, after that and kind of got out of that, I would say hole I was in, I felt way better and put myself out there a little bit more. And obviously have involved myself in this world since then. And that's been really nice, especially having that boundary of, I took that time to look at myself, to figure out what I wanted, figured out what I wanted to try, and to come into this in a headspace that I felt was healthy and good.
Mm-hmm. Had you been involved in the kink community before COVID and this period of your life?
No, actually, I was not. I definitely knew about it, but had not put myself out there in any of those kind of positions before really until about January of this year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So new.
Yeah.
How fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what happened in January? What was the first step? Was it online or going to an event?
I had been on FetLife for a little bit then. I had actually done a boudoir shoot with a friend of mine, and that was really the first time that I had posed naked for anything like that. And then that just kind of really opened me to the exhibitionism thing after that. And then just being comfortable with people looking at me naked and things like that. And yeah, I feel like that really kind of opened me up from there.
What happened in that shoot? Did you arrive feeling nervous and then went through a process of realizing how much you loved it? What actually happened that day?
Yeah. So I was nervous, very nervous. And this was someone I had already, met previously. So it wasn't like we were just meeting that day.
Right.
And we had some good communication, prior about my comfortability level and things like that, because obviously I had never done this before. And the person I was with did a great job. They, made me feel comfortable. I didn't feel like I was judged. I didn't feel like whatever. I just felt comfortable, and I didn't realize that I would be comfortable in that kind of situation. Showing everything, I guess, to someone, that I'm familiar with, but, haven't had anything beyond that. So it was good. I learned that the human body's awesome. Everybody's body's a little bit different. They have their flaws. You can hate certain parts of your body. You can love certain parts of your body. But for me, that was a really big step in accepting the way my body is, which I feel like as a woman, everybody has, have had thoughts about, I don't like this part about my body, or I don't like that part about my body. But the one thing that I have noticed is, over time has been everyone should take more pictures of their naked body. And I think that they would like their body better, take hundreds of them, whatever. It makes you more confident about yourself, I think, at least in my opinion. And that's really helped my self-confidence, I would say.
So it was the process of showing your body and being seen, and then also seeing what it looked like in the photos afterwards.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And then I, from there, kind of got involved with a community from there. So.
And how did that happen?
Boudoir boudoir photographer.
Uh-huh.
knew some people. So,
Right.
yeah, so we went from there.
Mm-hmm. And have you been to any kink events and been around groups of kinky people, or has it been more online?
Yes, the group that I'm a part of usually does one dungeon style party a month, and then
Oh.
they also do usually a rope class once a week, which I try to go to if
Mm-hmm.
I am available.
And what was your first kinky event like? What was it like entering that space? What happened? Can you take us through it?
I don't remember what my first one was.
Maybe one.
So
that
I'm like
sticks
not
out.
really. Let me actually go look because I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember what my first one was. Okay, so the first dungeon party that I went to was the Whoring 20s. So we usually have like some kind of theme, and that was the first one. I don't know if I've ever felt more uneasy about going to something in my entire life because it was meeting a bunch of new people
Mm.
and, never being in a public format, like seeing any of that kind of stuff before. So it was very intimidating to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a pretty like openly happy person and I can try to make friends with everybody, which I definitely did. But yeah, so it was like a good reason to dress up and kind of do some stuff like that. And then, got to watch some rope scenes and some impact scenes. And I did do a scene that first night I was there.
Oh,
So that was
wow.
fun. Yeah, it was fun.
So for someone that's listening who might be thinking of going to their first kink event and they're feeling just like you, intimidated and nervous, what would you say to that person about the process of getting there and then what happened once you were there and how you ended up even in a scene after feeling so nervous?
I would say that it's pretty normal to be nervous in that situation. I think
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of new things thrown at you, and there's probably definitely going to be some people there that you maybe haven't met yet. I was lucky enough beforehand that I had gone to some of the rope classes that we had during the week, so there was some people there that I was familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
So that helped. But I think those feelings of being nervous and not wanting to say the wrong thing, not wanting to do the wrong thing, you could remember that you don't have to participate. You can just be respectful and watch and learn. That was kind of how I went into it, was like, I am here to watch and learn and gather as much information for myself as I can. So that way, if I choose to be part of some kind of scene, I know where I'm at, what is appropriate, what's not appropriate, etc. So I think feeling nervous is normal. Now, obviously, I got to talk to some people there, and like as I got to know people, I definitely got more comfortable. Our group is pretty small, so that was also nice. And there was never any expectations put on anybody to participate or anything like that. It's, if you wanted to, you could, and if you didn't want to, you sure could watch.
Great perspective. Thank you for sharing. So,
yeah.
What did it feel like to be at your first event and then have be participating in a scene? What was that like?
It was nerve-wracking. So actually the first scene that I did was an impact scene.
Okay, cool.
Surprisingly, as my first one. Now that's something I had been interested in a long time before I even got into this realm. But I was sitting next to my friend, and she had never hit someone before. And I'm like, well, hey, do you want to hit me? And so and I think I felt more comfortable because, one, it was a woman, but also we have an experienced impact top there who was also watching and helping and teaching at the same time. So for me and for her, it was kind of like a learning and a teaching experience at the same time, because I felt like we were on like pretty equal ground, considering she had never hit someone before and I had never been hit. Okay. So that felt less intimidating to me, I guess. And I felt safe because there was, an experienced impact top there that was helping her and then also talking to me and talking to her. And so everybody was like, in the same headspace and communicating with each other.
And you all knew each other's levels of experience as well, which is so important when you're starting out. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Sounds very safe and delicious. I love it.
Yes. Yes.
And how did you feel after the scene?
I was like, oh, I am a masochist. I was like, wow, I like that. And like being able, I didn't, you know, the headspace part was new to me. There's not very many things that can make me shut my brain off, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. But I noticed like almost immediately that that was something that could make me do that. And whether that it was just like, you know, my body perception, my mind perception, just trying to take in everything that was going on at the same time, really forced me to concentrate on what was going on instead of thinking about, you know, any other thing that could be going on in my life at that particular moment.
Yeah, a recent guest on the podcast, Julieta Chiara, said something that's really stuck with me, and it keeps on coming back every time someone talks about this process of their mind becoming blank from things like impact play. And she said, pain is presence.
Yes,
because it forces you to just focus on that. And for someone whose mind is running all over the place, to be able to focus is a relief.
Yes.
Yeah, such an interesting way of putting it.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. I like that.
So one of the traditions on the podcast is exploring a quote with you. And being that you're a scientist, I thought I'd bring in a quote from the most famous scientist in the world, Albert Einstein.
Of course.
And he famously said, "I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious."
I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that.
What do you love about it?
That is what I try to embody like every day. Something that I feel like from someone who's been science minded, and, you know, even my friends who are in the science realm that are not in the kink realm, I feel like when you're in science and you do things that are science, it makes you naturally curious. You always want to find out more. You always want to learn more. And that is how I take my perspective also into kink land, I guess, is trying to take in as much information as possible, you know, see people's reactions, learn, you know, the goods and the bads of everything. Because I am curious, but I want to make sure that I come into that curiosity with enough knowledge to obviously keep myself safe, keep the person I'm with safe, and all that. Because, yeah, I think just curiosity is something people of the science realm, I think people are just always naturally curious. And I feel like that's kind of how I have been since I've been starting in here, just like trying to figure out what I like, trying to figure out what I don't like, you know, expanding on the things I do like. In that way, it's mostly, yeah, very, very curious person.
Have you always been curious, or is it a skill that you've developed over time?
I think I've always been curious. I probably like most of my life. I just like constantly love taking in new information and learning new things, especially if it's about something I don't know a lot about. I wish I could know all of the things, but that's obviously impossible. So I will go on deep dives about certain things when I find something very interesting. And I always just want to know more and want to know why people like what they like, why they don't what they like, why do I like it, why don't they like it, you know, things like that. I want to see the whole picture if I can. Yeah,
I love it. I resonate strongly.
yeah.
In the kink realm, do you think people sometimes judge themselves too quickly instead of giving themselves permission simply to be curious and explore?
I think so. Especially if it sometimes delves into stuff that maybe is a little bit more involved, or I don't want to necessarily say taboo, but things that are maybe different than the average, I guess. I feel like perhaps people definitely can feel insecure about that. They're like, why am I into this? Or like, why do I like this type of thing? So I think that, yeah.
And you've also written about kink through the lens of science a bit.
Yes.
What inspires you? How do you decide what to write about?
I think so I've done a few stuff about STIs. That is kind of in my realm of normal life knowledge because of my job. And I'm really a big proponent of science communication in a world where everybody, when they go to school, they get their PhD and stuff, everybody's so specific in what they learn.
Yep.
Compared to, you know, just, I'll just say like the average layman person. There's such a big disconnect between that specificity and the average person that there needs to be better communication between the two.
Yep.
So my thought process when doing that was, well, what if I could take things that are important to the kink side, I guess put my own little spin on it because I know the background information and how to explain something, and put it into a format that is digestible for the average person, but is still fun. Not overly confusing, you know, things that people can help remember things by. And obviously I know my audience when I'm talking about there. So, you know, having a little, you know, picture break here and there certainly keeps people entertained and to keep reading. So
I love it. Are you open to sharing something that you've written with us live today? I'm sure the listeners and I would enjoy it.
That I'm looking at right now?
Yeah, if you have something there, would you be open to like reading either all of it if it's not crazy long, or maybe a part of it, just so people can get a sense of some of the writing that you've done?
Sure.
Oh, awesome.
I'm just going to pause here a second. Okay, so I will read off kind of an example of one of the writings that I've posted. I think for STI purposes, I've posted about herpes, HPV, and syphilis so far, and I'm currently working on my M-Gen one. But if someone would like a little flair about like how I like to write, here's an example. So I'm just going to read a little bit from my HPV one that I wrote. So to start, it goes HPV 101. This virus has zero respect for personal space. So HPV stands for human papillomavirus. The most, oh, you thought you were a safe virus in existence. We've likely had it at all at some point, whether we know it or not. Rude. And then I have explained the actual pictorial view of it as a koosh ball, which is like a toy, I guess, that I remember playing with when I was a kid. That's all spiky and stuff. It's a double-stranded DNA. She's stable. She's structured. She's annoying. It's non-enveloped, so it's built like a Nokia brick, which is definitely a 90s reference to a really old cell phone. You know, you can run it over with a car, you can drop it off a 50-foot building, you can throw it at a wall, you know, you get me. And this virus specifically loves keratinocytes, which is your outer skin cells. So congratulations, if you have skin or mucosa, you're on the menu.
Yay.
Yes. So it's entry strategy. It's kind of a sneaky little menace. All right. So another section of this writing is called the entry strategy, which I call the secret little menace. And then it has a picture of Dokes from Dexter that says, surprise, motherfucker. So, you know, gotta throw in I find like adding memes or little sayings or something can help people remember things a little bit better. So HPV doesn't kick doors down. It literally can wait for you to have like a microscopic paper cut or like a tiny little break in your skin from anything. And then it's like, oh my God, is anyone going to infect that? But it doesn't wait for an answer. So, you know, you'll need these little micro tears, which you probably won't even notice. It grabs onto cell sugars, which honestly, I get it. It's sugar. And then it kind of gets in there like a VIP pass. It gets eaten up by Pac-Man. It breaks out, and then it heads to the nucleus and kind of sets up shop. So it kind of just chills there. It's kind of socially anxious, doesn't want to get out there and talk to anybody. And then it's just, you know, kind of replicating on pure vibes until it decides it needs to go out and cause havoc on other parts of your body. So that's kind of an example of like how I write, whether it's using, you know, little sayings or using memes or, like I said, anything to help people remember this kind of information in a fun way. And I feel like expressing those kind of things in a more of a fun way makes it less intimidating for people, yet they're still going to get that important information.
Yeah, it takes away the shame of it and the seriousness of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I love it. Thank you for sharing.
Yes.
So I wanted to bring in today's research article here because it is about STIs. So these researchers are behind the Claude Project, which is a sexual health initiative developed by ACON. And they explored sexual health promotion and STI prevention within kink and BDSM communities. Now, one of the key findings was that effective sexual health education isn't simply about providing information. It's about creating environments like you do with your writing, where people feel safe enough to ask questions, communicate openly, negotiate boundaries, and seek support without shame. And a really interesting finding was they found that many people struggled to access sexual health information that actually reflected the kinds of sex they were having. And they argue that good sexual health promotion should focus more on sexual practices than on sexual identity. And this was partly because there were women in the study that were having sex with other women, but not identifying as bisexual or lesbian, but heterosexual.
Mm.
So one of the central ideas in the paper is that sexual health should focus more on what people actually do than these labels. Does that resonate with your experience within the kink community at all, or the people you're talking with? Have you had the same experience that they found in the study?
Yes, I think so. I think it's important that, like, when doing STI like education, shouldn't matter what kind of sexuality you are, regardless. Because there's definitely like situations, at least from my female point of view, where, like, you know, a woman may not be bisexual per se, but still has experiences with women. But I feel like STI education should be, you know, it shouldn't matter, you know, what your sexuality is. Like, you know, HIV education, for example, is just as important for straight people as it is for, you know, gay men. Like, that shouldn't matter. All of these STIs can affect everybody equally. So I look at it that way.
So if you could redesign sexual health education for people exploring BDSM or kink for the very first time, can you think of one thing you'd want everyone to understand before they walked into their first event or scene?
Let's see. I think that I've been trying to do that kind of already with the way that I'm writing. I'm not trying to put, like, yes, I put in my own little sayings and stuff, but I'm just trying to make it accessible to as many people as possible. I feel like the STI portion of kink and really just sexual health in general should be talked about more, and, you know, in a way that people can understand it and feel okay asking questions. I do get questions, you know, afterwards, and I do my best to answer them in my way. Like, obviously, I'm not a medical doctor, so none of the things that I say are medical advice in any way. But sometimes people just need that person to kind of break down something that can be confusing in like a science way, and just like break it down and explain it to them in a way that they can understand. I feel like I've been able to do that fairly good. Science is complicated. Not everybody's brain works exactly the same when it comes to understanding something like that. So my goal is to try to take it down to a level where everybody can understand it. Yes, I put in some things that are more specific sometimes, and that's mostly kind of just for funsies for myself, if people want to like look into something a little bit, you know, more into that. But I just, in general, STI education needs to be more acceptable and more understandable for anybody, not even just the kink world. But I do think it's something that people should educate themselves on when they are getting into this, the kink world, just because you need to protect yourself, protect your partners, and testing and communication is like a really, really big part of that.
Yeah, and understanding some of the science behind it takes away a lot of the shame as well that quite often comes with STI. So thank you for doing what you do. It's much appreciated.
Yes, thank you.
So going back to your own sexuality now, you spend a lot of time asking people why they like what they like and contemplating on this question. Has there been anything that you've discovered about what you're into that has genuinely surprised you?
I would say, like, I knew I was into impact. I didn't realize how much I was into impact. And I feel like it's normal to have some interesting thoughts about that in your own process. Learning that, like, I definitely had those, like, is this weird that I'm into this? Why am I into this? Like, you know, self-analyzing myself. And I think that those thoughts are probably normal.
Yeah.
And that, like, so far has surprised me what I've been able to do. I don't think of it as like a competition against myself or anything. If anything, I feel like it's helping me learn more about myself in different ways. You know, obviously I like it because it calms my brain down, and I don't think that that is wrong to want to participate in things like that calm your brain down. But like, you know, I had thoughts associated with shame and things like that when I first started too. But I feel like the more I've talked to other people and learned more about it, I know that those thoughts are normal and for anybody just starting out. And I have moved away from that, I feel like, at this point, and have realized that, you know, it's okay to like what I like, you know, as long as, you know, everything is safe and everything is consensual. It's okay. And it's okay to explore those kind of things that you like.
Well, yay for self-acceptance and moving away from shame. We love that.
Yes.
So looking back now, do you feel like you were always kinky? Or is it something, okay, you do, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I do.
Why is that?
I had like forayed into it a little bit. I mean, I have been on the internet for a long time, so it's not like I didn't know that this kind of thing existed. But even like before then, before even like getting into this, I think part of it was some kind of like internal shame about trying to get into that. And I'm sure other people have felt the same way. Like, you know, will people judge me, you know, if I'm in this situation? Like, and I had those thoughts too.
Okay, so as part of our conversation, I asked you to bring along something to share, such as a quote, book, movie, art that's influenced your eroticism. Can you share with us what you've brought along today and how it has shaped your erotic realm?
So what I brought with today was a book that I had read when it came out, and it is called Want, Sexual Fantasies by Anonymous, which was put together by Gillian Anderson. So it really goes into specifically the female side of like personal and like intimate confessions about like the thought process of like what women want in sexual relationships, or like the fantasies and stuff that they have that, you know, maybe they haven't shared with somebody, but felt comfortable with, you know, saying anonymously. And the book has really like a wide range of thoughts and processes that people have gone through in there. It was actually really well put together. I really liked it.
And by Gillian Anderson, do you mean the X-Files lady?
Yes. Yes.
I didn't know she did this. How cool.
Yes.
Awesome. And was there a particular story in this book that really spoke to you and influenced you, or was it the fact that you were reading so many personal fantasies of people from all around the world that spoke to you?
I would say a little bit of both. There's a section here that I really liked that I feel like kind of, you know, with me. I'm just going to read this section here.
Please.
In a world where, as a woman, I'm told I have to control my weight, my attitude, my vulnerability, and always be on guard, I want pure release. In my everyday life, I'm a strong woman who conquers the business world. In my average sexual encounters, I'm the dominant force. My fantasy is to not be, to forego all control and finally give away the power I fought so hard to earn. I don't want to make decisions. I want to be told. My fantasy is to be taken care of. I want to be tied up and brought close to release over and over again. I want to be a good girl, kept in line with tiny punishments of pain that keep my body awake and my mind focused. Put me in a cage where if my posture starts to slip, spikes start to poke me. I want to be my master's beck and call, to kneel at someone's feet begging for release. It feels like a dirty secret that for once I want to be a sub. And I wish this concept didn't feel so foreign. Giving away this part of me is raw and potentially devastating. Yet I yearn for sex in which nothing can be overthought because the dynamic is set. Sex in which I'm cared for and given permission to care in return. So, and I feel like a lot of women feel like that. Especially, I mean, that's how I feel. Like I work in like a dominant career where I have to have everything, my way or the highway. So I totally feel with that section very heavily.
Yeah. So, many people do. Beautifully written.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're all anonymous confessions of fantasies from just women around the world?
Yes, just women.
So
it doesn't like give a name. It'll give like, maybe where they're from. It looks like if they're in a relationship, just a little bit of background information at the end of the story, but that's really it.
Oh, well, thank you for highlighting that today. I haven't heard of it, surprisingly, so I'll check it out. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been exploring pretty intentionally in the kink world since January this year. It's now July. It's just turned into July that we're recording this. I'm curious to hear from you. What has been a peak erotic experience for you during this time that you're happy to share with us today?
Peak erotic experience. Probably getting fisted for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Yes, by a woman of all of all things. So yeah, that was like all of my things coming together at the same time. So yeah, that was very exhilarating. So I never experienced that before. So that was fun.
This was your first woman experience as well at the same time?
No, I had been with one other woman prior to that, but yeah.
And what made this particular experience such a peak erotic experience?
I had never done it before, and I very much am the science person that I am. I'm very curious in all the ways that I can get myself to orgasm. So that was definitely one that worked. And it's definitely a different feeling than any of the other ones I've had in the past. So yeah, that was definitely erotic. I will say that.
If you're comfortable sharing a little bit more, can you describe how the orgasm felt for you?
Well, in the past, I've had problems being able to orgasm specifically just from like the G-spot, which is not uncommon, I think, with most women. And that was very different to me. That was like my whole body, like very different headspace. It wasn't the same as like, like a quick here and there. It felt more like a really big buildup. And then the release was so different. I just felt like my whole body just like gave up and was just like, oh my gosh. Different than anything I had been able to experience with somebody else or by myself, really.
Sounds amazing. I can see why it's a peak erotic experience.
Yes, yes.
Fun. Okay. And what about looking ahead for your kinky explorations? Is there something in particular that you're looking forward to experiencing?
I am really want to get into some like sharps play impact wise. So whether if it's needle play or like, staplers or something like that, I'm looking forward to do that. And I'm also looking forward to, being suspended as funny things because I like to do that too. So
have you been suspended before?
Yes, multiple times. Yeah. Yes.
And as a forever student, your nerdy scientist side, what are you most curious to learn next? You mentioned that you've got a new writing that you're working on.
Yes. I'm currently working on one for Mycobacterium genitalium, which is MGen. It's one I've been asked to write about for quite some time. It's a little newer and people have some confusion on that, especially when it comes to testing wise. So I am currently learning what I can about that, and will be applying that to a writing soon. That whole process takes some time because I definitely still write it out scientifically and then break it down from there. So it's a process to get that to where I'm at. As for other parts of kink stuff, I think in general, just like experiencing stuff at my own pace and then still observing other people. I just like trying to take in as much as I can. So seeing new scenes to me is interesting. Seeing different dynamics between people in scenes is interesting, you know, whether I'm in them or not. I find all of that stuff fascinating.
And say there's someone listening who is thinking about exploring kink for the first time, just like you were not too long ago, but they're afraid of asking stupid questions or doing something wrong. What would you say to them?
I don't think there is a such thing as a stupid question. If I probably asked what someone might consider a stupid question when I first started to, I feel like the more information you have, the safer that you can be. So I don't think that there is a stupid question when it comes to trying to learn things about kink.
Very true, very true. And finally, if you had to describe your erotic self in one word and one word only, what word would you choose and why?
Spontaneous. And why? A lot of times when I get an idea to do something, it tends to be spontaneous. I will do stuff that is planned too, but I like to do things that are fun and whimsical, and a lot of times those tend to be very spontaneous.
That sounds like fun. Well,
Yeah.
that's scientist. Thank you for joining us today. And what I really enjoyed about this conversation is that it reminds us that understanding our erotic selves doesn't always begin with having all the answers, but it begins with asking questions. So whether we're exploring kink for the first time, sexual health, or simply trying to understand ourselves a little more deeply, curiosity is one of the most powerful tools we have. So thank you for exemplifying that, and thank you for taking us into your erotic realm today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thanks again. I'm Em, and this has been the Erotic Realm Podcast. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Erotic Realm Podcast. This is an independent podcast, and if you want to see more episodes made just like this one, you can support it at psychologyofdesire.com by becoming a paid subscriber and entering the realm with many other supporters. The mission of the Erotic Realm is to humanize kink and desire in all of its forms, and we can't do that without you. So until the next time, stay perverted.